Hi, I'm Jack Howell, one of the pastors here at Trinity Church, and I am in our newly refurbished sanctuary, personally inviting you to join us. Not this Sunday, but a week from Sunday, 9 days or so from now. We hope you will come back and join us. Now that date is approximate with the last time we were all here together, the 8th of March, 2020. Think of how much has happened in those 2 years. Think of all the habits we've formed and the habits we've left unused. Maybe you got some new hobbies. Maybe there's some things you've just left by the wayside in the last 2 years. I'm inviting you to consider some new practices, some new habits of forming this habit of saying, I need to be with God's people together in person on Sunday mornings in a space. We need to kneel together and sing together and worship together as God's people. Why? Because we're formed by our practices. We're formed by these habits. The more we do these, the more we're changed bodily. There's a reason why we stand up and we kneel and we raise our hands and we say, as bodily people, we're shaped and formed as we receive the promises and grab hold of God's claim on us, His preservation of us. And there are lots of times, frankly, that as we do these practices, we don't really believe them. We're struggling to believe the gospel. We're struggling to believe that it's true. We don't want to confess our sins. We're not sure we can affirm our faith. Okay. The great thing about being together as the community of faith, as the church of God, is that we proclaim the gospel to each other. We remind each other of the assurance of grace with each other. We feed and stand along one another, and we say, the sacrament's for you. And you too have been bought by the blood. You've been saved by the body. It's all good news, because what do we need more than anything? Worship. We need to be reminded that we are a saved people, a kept people, a delighted in and cherished people, which is another way of saying we need reminders that all the things that this world says and all the suffering that we endure in this world and all the disappointments and all the frustrations, think of this last 2 years, that they're not the final word, that death isn't the end, that all this world promises and scares us with and tells us is not the final story. We need reminders there's a better story at work. And where do we find the story? Where do we inhabit the story? Where do we see the story embodied? It's in the church. It's through worship. It's saying, I'm yours. I'm yours. You've delighted in me. You've created me and you've sustained me. Now you've redeemed and you're keeping me. And we do that. We rehearse that. We practice that with one another week in and week out. And we get to do it in this incredible space. I want to invite you to come back, that we can have new habits as the new people of God. And as we enjoy new community, we can find new wins, new expressions of God's grace upon us. I hope you'll join us. There's craft coffee. There'll be caramels for your children. There's hearty bread and wine. It's going to be fantastic to have everybody here worshiping as the new family of God, enjoying the new gifts of God as the people of God. I can't wait to see you. Thanks for coming out and worshiping with us.